Who am I really? My answer is I am God's child.
That
Even though
statement
she
full of
claimed to be their
conviction once
biggest
made the
fan,
whole
calling
world
out
admire
OPR
Oprah
for
as a
using her
flawless
show to
icon.
trash the works of art.
But then
Endless
Hollywood
speculation.
shook when Katt Williams, with his
In his now
no-holds-barred
legendary-
mouth, began revealing the dark corners behind the glamour. And at 56, Ice Cube, legendary rapper and movie star, suddenly sided with Katt, openly admitting he is speaking the truth that many people don't dare to say. From there, a power triangle erupted: Katt the exposer, Ice Cube, the witness, and Oprah, the figure forced to face what she wants to hide. Is Oprah truly afraid of what Katt Williams knows? And when those secrets are touched, how far will Hollywood explode? This story is not simply a few spontaneous remarks. It has become an earthquake in the American entertainment industry, where all eyes are on three names with three different roles yet trapped in the same media storm: the power triangle. Hollywood has long been familiar with scandals, but never before had chaos been ignited so strongly as in early 2024 when comedian Katt Williams appeared on Shannon Sharpe's show, Club Shay Shay. Within just a few days, his more than 2-hour interview drew over 37 million views on YouTube, and by mid-year that number surpassed 50 million, a rare record for such a lengthy talk show. In that conversation, Katt not only spoke about his career but also bluntly named and called out many colleagues exposing dark corners that the public rarely hears about. That bluntness immediately sparked a wave of debate. Katt Williams, already famous for being afraid of no one, became the center of global media attention. Every name he mentioned was dissected from private life to career, as if the whole of Hollywood had been dragged into a storm created by him alone. When Ice Cube stood with Katt Williams and Oprah's name was invoked, everything suddenly became far more serious. At 56, Ice Cube was not only the legendary rapper of NWA, but also a box office star with a string of successful action comedies and a respected producer in the entertainment industry. His appearance was not to join in attacks, but to openly stand with Katt. He admitted that Katt was telling the truth in his own way, and that this bluntness was exactly what Hollywood needed to hear. A statement from an icon with decades in the industry was like a heavy seal of approval, making the public view Katt's revelations differently. No longer just shade-throwing stories for amusement, they became declarations with real weight. If someone like Ice Cube, who had worked with Katt in hit films like Friday After Next 2002 and First Sunday 2008, was willing to support him, then those words could not be taken lightly. And then, among the long list of figures dragged into the whirlwind, one name shocked the public: Oprah Winfrey. With a career spanning more than 40 years, Oprah is the global queen of media, the first black woman to make Forbes' billionaire list 2003, and currently owns an estimated fortune of $2.8 billion, Forbes 2024. She is not only known as a host and producer, but also as a humanitarian icon tied to the image of supporting the black community and women. But it was that near-perfect image that made Oprah's sudden mention all the more dramatic. Rumors began to spread. Could she have secrets from the past conflicts with black artists or shadowy relationships among Hollywood elites? And if so, is that the reason why she feels uneasy, as Katt Williams keeps hinting? That question intensified when Ice Cube appeared, seemingly signaling that what Katt held was no trivial matter. The public began to see Oprah not just as a flawless icon, but also as someone who might be tested by the biggest storm of her career. So what exactly is Oprah Winfrey facing? Could she be afraid that fragments of the past will be dragged into the light, as Katt Williams continues to insist he has much more to reveal? To understand why Oprah Winfrey's name became the focal point in the wave of speculation following Katt Williams' interview, it is necessary to look back at the specific incidents that once drew her into controversy. These are not random details, but crucial pieces shaping a two-faced portrait. On one side, the queen of media. On the other, a powerful figure feared by many black artists. Behind the scenes of Harvey Weinstein and Me Too. In the eyes of many, Hollywood is nothing less than a giant launchpad today. You may still be a nobody, but with just one timely role you can become the brightest star on the planet. At the same time, however, it is also a land of invisible powers, where the moguls behind the spotlight hold the power to decide who gets to shine and who remains trapped in the shadows. One of the most prominent names representing this dark side is Harvey Weinstein, the powerful producer who was once a symbol of success, but later became the center of the shocking Me Too scandal. Katt Williams once revealed that during his many years working in Hollywood, he directly witnessed how Weinstein used his power to control artists, especially young black actors and performers. not through public deals or legal contracts, but through sophisticated strategic moves, from offering roles, proposing collaborations, to arranging interviews and media events. Everything was carefully calculated to create an environment where artists were forced to comply with power if they wanted to rise. Katt emphasized that this very experience helped him understand that what the public sees on screen or on talk shows is often just the tip of the iceberg. Behind the stage lights, powerful producers like Weinstein often establish a hidden system of control in which artists are monitored in their words, actions, and attitudes. And not everyone can resist. Out of fear of losing opportunities, fear of career destruction, or fear of being publicly ostracized. The #MeToo scandal that erupted in 2017 brought all these secrets to light. When numerous actresses, backstage staff, and artists bravely spoke up, Hollywood was jolted into realizing the extent of influence and power that one individual could wield to manipulate the entire industry. This went far beyond sexual abuse, encompassing mechanisms of image control, truth suppression, and media information management. In many conversations and interviews, Katt Williams subtly reminded audiences that powers like Weinstein's were not just about one individual, but about a system with which Oprah and other media icons had to interact every day. Winfrey, as a powerful producer and host, had repeatedly been forced to carefully consider interview content, guests, and sensitive questions. This caution was not necessarily about personal fear, but a reaction to a power mechanism that had existed for decades where every move could be watched and judged. What Katt Williams particularly stressed was that Ice Cube also recognized this power. When he openly supported Katt in recent interviews, it was not only an endorsement of Katt's blunt words, but also a subtle signal to the public that what Katt knew about Hollywood, including how powers like Weinstein manipulated artists and controlled information, was no small matter. This story led people to reassess the relationship between black artists and the powerful moguls. Not everyone could shine freely, and even major icons had to employ sophisticated strategies to preserve their image. #MeToo did not only expose acts of abuse, it also opened up a larger narrative about power and control in the entertainment industry, where black artists such as Michael Jackson, Katt Williams, Ice Cube, and even powerful hosts like Oprah had to learn how to move in the shadows to protect their careers and reputations. This truth is precisely part of the reason why Oprah might feel anxious when Katt Williams mentions Hollywood's secrets. Because it is not only a personal matter, but also a complex picture of power media and hidden systems that still exist to this day. As a result, the power triangle of Katt Williams, Ice Cube, Oprah once again became a symbol of untold truths, where the public witnesses the clash between bluntness, personal credibility, and media power. And it was precisely from the story of Harvey Weinstein and the #MeToo movement that we realize one common point: those who once stood at the pinnacle of power could also be swept into the vortex of suspicion. This opens the door to the next truth. Katt Williams mentioned the case of Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, from benefactor to suspect. Michael Jackson, the man who once helped Oprah Winfrey reach the peak of her media career,
he apparently
later became
roped
the
in
center
Black
of
Cube
heated
again to put
controversy
the
in the public
squeeze on
eye
journalists.
after the release of the documentary Leaving Neverland 2019. Oprah's historic interview with Michael Jackson in 1993 at Neverland, where he opened up about his personal life, passion for music, and lesser-known aspects of himself, attracted 62 million viewers in the US, setting a record for talk shows at that time. It was a legendary moment that helped Oprah become one of the most powerful hosts in the world. Not only did Oprah's reputation rise thanks to this interview, but her relationship with Michael Jackson also helped her expand her influence in the entertainment industry. Michael Jackson, with unmatched fame in the 1990s, became a close friend of Oprah, someone with whom she could have deep conversations about life, music, and social issues. However, this bond turned into one of the most controversial stories of Oprah's career when Michael Jackson passed away in 2009. After the release of the documentary Leaving Neverland in 2019, which exposed allegations of sexual abuse by Jackson, Oprah once again became a prominent figure in leading this discussion. She devoted time to interviewing Wade Robson and James Safechuck, the two men who accused Jackson of sexual abuse. Oprah's involvement in this debate made many people, especially Jackson's fans, feel that she had turned her back on the friend who once helped her career. Although Oprah stated that she only wanted to shed light on the truth, and that she was not criticizing Michael Jackson, but simply creating a space for victims to speak, Jackson's supporters believed that she was exposing someone who had once elevated her media stature. This created a major contradiction in Oprah's image, a figure once known as a symbol of advocacy and justice, but who could also take a step that made millions feel betrayed. A big question raised by the public was, did Oprah truly believe in these allegations, or was she simply acting under the demands of organizations and film partners? Oprah's image in the eyes of the public has now changed. From a close friend, Michael Jackson has now become part of a debate over morality and fairness in the media world. And Oprah's participation in that conversation sparked doubts about her objectivity on the matter. But Michael Jackson was not the only case that made the public ask whose side is Oprah really on, and with what motive. For alongside this, another story that has lasted for more than a decade has also shown how Oprah confronted black artists in the fight for justice. That is the case of Mo'Nique, the actress who openly challenged the Hollywood system. Mo'Nique, a decade-long fight for justice. Mo'Nique, the Oscar-winning actress for her role in Precious 2009, represents one of the most striking and heartbreaking cases in Hollywood. After receiving her major award, Mo'Nique almost disappeared from big projects. The reason was not a lack of talent, but rather her refusal to participate in a promotional tour for the film without being paid. This decision made her the target of a quiet blacklist orchestrated by powerful figures in the industry, including Oprah Winfrey, who had once supported her in the early years of her career. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Mo'Nique shared that after refusing to join the unpaid promotional tour for Precious, she was sidelined by Oprah Tyler Perry and director Lee Daniels, and was no longer given opportunities in major projects. She felt she was treated unfairly, noting that male colleagues and other high-profile stars were never asked to work for free, while she, as a black actress, was pressured to sacrifice in order to sustain her career. In 2015, Mo'Nique filed a lawsuit against Netflix for discrimination in pay, pointing out that male artists such as David Letterman and Chris Rock received enormous compensation while she was offered far less. Though she did not win the case, the issue she raised made a significant impact on the entertainment industry. Mo'Nique's fight was not only about fairness for herself, but also about giving a voice to black performers, particularly women who are consistently undervalued in Hollywood. And for more than a decade, Mo'Nique has continued to demand that Oprah and Tyler Perry issue a public apology for the way they treated her. However, she has yet to receive such an apology, and the relationship between her and Oprah has grown increasingly strained. Mo'Nique has declared that Oprah not only harmed her, but also harmed many other black artists, using her media power to uphold a truth that she wanted the public to believe. Mo'Nique's story is not just a personal tale of workplace injustice, but a reflection of the deeper systemic problems in Hollywood, where power and money often overshadow justice. And Oprah's silence, even as Mo'Nique's accusations grew louder, only fueled greater suspicion about whether she truly stands with the oppressed. Yet the story did not end there. For soon after, another name ignited public controversy: Taraji P. Henson. During the promotional campaign for The Color Purple, the actress openly expressed frustration over pay disparities and working conditions, unintentionally pulling Oprah as a producer into the center of the debate. Taraji P. Henson and The Color Purple. Another story that shook Oprah's image was her connection with Taraji P. Henson in the 2023 project, The Color Purple. Taraji, one of Hollywood's most outstanding black actresses, faced a harsh reality when she revealed that she had been offered a deeply disrespectful low salary for her role in the film. This became even more serious given that Oprah was a co-producer of the project, a figure long recognized for championing black talent and advocating for justice within the industry. Taraji disclosed that the initial pay she was offered was so low it was unacceptable, forcing her to stand up, negotiate, and demand fair compensation. Although she eventually secured a more reasonable salary, the incident raised troubling questions. Why would someone like Oprah, who consistently promotes equality and fairness, allow such a situation to occur in a production she spearheaded? Though both Oprah and Taraji denied having any personal conflict, the undeniable fact remains Taraji had to fight just to receive fair pay. This fueled concerns about whether Oprah truly protects black artists as she claims, or whether her influence falls short when it matters most. Taraji's story forms part of a much larger picture of systemic inequities in Hollywood, where even powerful figures like Oprah can fail to intervene at critical moments. These controversies not only fractured Oprah's once unshakable public image, but also sparked a pressing question: does she genuinely stand with the oppressed, Or is she simply maintaining a flawless mask within the entertainment industry? And could these hidden truths be the very reason Oprah seemed uneasy when Katt Williams began pulling back the curtain? That question grows even sharper when the discussion turns to one of Hollywood's most scandalous names, Harvey Weinstein. Oprah's connection to the disgraced mogul, whether direct or indirect, has long fueled public speculation. Harvey Weinstein and the dark side surrounding. If the incidents with ludicrous Michael Jackson Monique or Taraji P. Henson are scattered cracks on Oprah's image wall, then the name Harvey Weinstein is an earthquake that shakes that wall violently. Because here, Oprah is not just mentioned in a few complaints or career controversies, but is also linked to one of the most serious scandals in Hollywood history, the Me Too movement. In 2014, at a major event in Europe, an image of Oprah Winfrey kissing Harvey Weinstein on the cheek went viral.
Something fancy, while
At that
casually
time,
throwing
Weinstein
in the
was
idea
still
of
the
hooking
mogul
her
of
up with a
cinema
modeling
with a string of
agency in
Oscar
London.
statues behind him. Oprah appearing next to him was not unusual. She was friends with many powerful figures from Steven Spielberg to Tom Cruise. But when the Weinstein scandal erupted at the end of 2017, those old photos suddenly became evidence in the hands of public opinion that Oprah was not just casually acquainted with him, but also intimate with someone accused of harassing dozens of women over many decades. The rumors went further when some tabloids quoted anonymous sources saying that Oprah had advised Weinstein to speak up and defend himself. TMZ reported that Weinstein himself boasted to his friends that Oprah had called him to offer encouragement. However, Oprah immediately denied it. She had never had a private conversation with Weinstein to give such advice. There was no independent evidence to confirm his claims. The combination of old photos and unfounded rumors created an environment for conspiracy theories to flourish on social media. YouTube videos, TikToks, and even extreme blogs began to weave stories that Oprah was the coordinator for Hollywood elites, even casting her in the role of recruiting victims for Weinstein. These statements had no evidence but spread widely because they tapped into the public's skepticism. It was hard to believe that someone as powerful as Oprah knew nothing about Weinstein's actions. In the face of this wave of criticism, Oprah chose a strategy of silence and proactivity. She did not directly confront the rumors, but she also did not avoid speaking out about the Me Too movement. In 2018, during her speech at the Golden Globe Awards, Oprah declared, "A new day is on the horizon, and when the dawn finally breaks, no one will have to say Me Too anymore." The speech received 1,000 rounds of applause and quickly became a defining message of the movement. However, a paradox emerged here. The stronger she called for the fight against harassment, the more her photos with Weinstein were brought up for comparison with sarcastic remarks, "Why condemn when you were once so close?" For those who didn't believe Oprah, her silence about her specific relationship with Weinstein only fueled more suspicion. What can be confirmed? Oprah and Weinstein knew each other in the Hollywood environment, met and took photos together at various events. But until now, there is no evidence showing Oprah was an accomplice or assisted Weinstein in his illegal actions. Fact-checking organizations have repeatedly affirmed that the memes accusing Oprah of luring victims are entirely fabricated. However, in the public world, the truth is not always as important as feelings. And the feeling the public gets when seeing Oprah next to Weinstein is a suspicion that is hard to erase. Oprah Winfrey is known as a symbol of compassion and fairness. But when her image appeared in the larger picture of the Weinstein scandal, that once intact wall now has a large crack. For those who were already skeptical, this was the piece that made them believe Oprah did not always live up to the image she had built. This story is not simply about photos or secret conversations. It is about a large system where powerful people can be hidden behind the spotlight, where silence, or not speaking up, can make a story even more terrifying. The question about Oprah is not just about her relationship with Weinstein, but also a wake-up call for anyone living under the veil of power. And one of the things Katt Williams may know and may reveal are these relationships. Katt Williams, with his talent and straightforwardness, may be the one to expose these hidden relationships, the truths that Hollywood has tried to keep hidden. And in those secrets, Oprah Winfrey may be an unavoidable figure. Will the things Katt Williams knows force Oprah to face the truths she has always tried to avoid? This may still be too early to confirm, but one thing is certain: the storm that Katt is stirring could become a shock big enough to shake Oprah's most powerful image. In the eyes of the public, she is the queen of media, a symbol of success and inspiration. But behind that spotlight, there are always secrets, dark areas that few dare to touch. And it is those mysteries behind Oprah Winfrey, from her relationships within Hollywood's elite, to her controversial decisions, to the binding connections that are hard to explain, that are now at the center of the discussion. The question now is, what exactly does Katt Williams know, and why does it make Oprah so cautious? The mystery behind Oprah Winfrey. In Hollywood, a public image is often just the tip of the iceberg, a carefully constructed surface polished over decades. For Oprah Winfrey, this story becomes even more complex. As the queen of media with a career spanning over 40 years, Oprah is not only the Emmy-winning host of The Oprah Winfrey Show, but also a producer, a billionaire, with an estimated net worth of $2.8 billion, Forbes 2024, and a global cultural icon for Black excellence. Her image has always been tied to compassion, fairness, and community support. Yet, as Katt Williams has hinted in recent interviews, there remains a significant gap between that image and reality. Katt Williams, known for his bluntness and refusal to sugarcoat Hollywood, revealed that even figures as powerful as Oprah must carefully calculate every word and every move in public. This is not necessarily because of a lack of ethics or bad intentions, but rather due to the sheer complexity of the modern entertainment industry, where every decision is scrutinized, every story can be exaggerated, and every image can be turned into a weapon of media narratives. A telling example, as Katt pointed out, lies in how Oprah manages her charitable initiatives and community programs. On the surface, these activities always appear pristine: photos of her with children, glowing interviews, praising her philanthropy, and press releases highlighting her positive impact. Yet, according to the information Katt gathered and shared behind-the-scenes, decisions about which projects to pursue, how budgets are allocated, and which partners to engage often involve political, commercial, and media considerations. These choices are not unethical, but they reveal an image that is meticulously curated rather than purely organic. Katt also disclosed that many artists and collaborators who have worked with Oprah encountered situations where they felt their image was being guided rather than freely expressed. For instance, during charitable partnerships or interview segments, artists had to weigh every word, not only to avoid controversy, but to maintain appropriateness in the eyes of the public. This is a dynamic few outside Hollywood would ever notice. This is one reason why both Ice Cube and Katt Williams have become crucial voices in the conversation. When Katt openly addressed the gap between image and reality, Ice Cube echoed the sentiment, stating Hollywood always operates in ways the public doesn't see. Thankfully, there are people willing to speak up. His comment placed Oprah once again at the center of a power triangle watched closely by the public, artists, and the media alike. The tension between public image and reality became even more pronounced as Katt emphasized Oprah's sensitive ties to powerful organizations and individuals. Philanthropic projects, seemingly driven by pure humanitarian intent, were at times intertwined with media strategy, business partnerships, and personal brand building. Katt's candor helped the public realize that not every good deed is entirely authentic, but rather a sophisticated blend of noble purpose and image strategy. Public reactions to these revelations formed a maze of emotions: surprise, skepticism, and even renewed respect for Oprah's ability to maintain her influence despite such pressures. But this very tension between her flawless image and the strategic reality behind it explains why Oprah might feel uneasy as Katt Williams begins unveiling stories from behind the spotlight. This is not a matter of personal attack, but of the immense layers of power and responsibility that any icon must face. And when an icon like Oprah steps into the most sensitive topics, the price is not just personal credibility, but also the judgment of a global audience. Nowhere was this more evident than in one of the most controversial moments of her career, Oprah and After Neverland. After Neverland. When an interview became a storm. In the history of Oprah Winfrey's media career, there have been numerous occasions when she became the center of difficult conversations. However, few events have been as divisive and left such a lasting aftershock as the After Neverland program in 2019. At that time, shortly after HBO aired the documentary Leaving Neverland, in which two witnesses, Wade Robson and James Safechuck, accused Michael Jackson of child sexual abuse, Oprah immediately appeared with a special conversation with them. The show was recorded in front of a live audience broadcast under the title Oprah Winfrey Presents After Neverland, and quickly sparked a global storm. The issue wasn't just the sensitivity of the content, but also Oprah's position. For decades, she has been a cultural icon, a voice with weight in both the Black community and the American entertainment industry. Therefore, when Oprah decided to stand by the accusers of Michael Jackson, a portion of the audience, especially the loyal fans of the King of Pop, saw it as a betrayal. They believed Oprah had taken sides using the platform to legitimize accusations that had not been proven in court. The result, social media exploded, hashtags calling for a boycott of Oprah appeared, and many international articles reported an unprecedented backlash aimed at her. Oprah later admitted that she received an enormous amount of hateration after this program. She was blunt about it. It was vitriol, it was hate, it was hateration like I had never seen before. With nearly 40 years of experience in broadcasting, Oprah was used to controversy. But After Neverland made her realize that an editorial decision could turn an entire career into a target for attacks. It was a painful lesson the truth can sometimes not only spark debate, but also shatter the image of a queen of media who is accustomed to being on the untouchable pedestal. Why is this important when mentioning Oprah's concerns about what Katt Williams might reveal? Because After Neverland shows Oprah in an extremely sensitive position, taking on the role of storyteller for a serious accusation and then bearing the full force of the backlash. If Katt holds behind-the-scenes details about how that program was orchestrated, or about who influenced Oprah's decision to bring Robson and Safechuck onto the show, then that could be the second bombshell. No new legal evidence is needed, just a few revelations from an insider like Katt, who is known for his boldness in confronting power, could rekindle the controversy that once caused Oprah so much trouble. The sensitivity of the matter is further heightened when remembering that Michael Jackson was not only a global star, but also a historically significant Black icon. For the Black fan community, any action that could be perceived as against Michael was easily seen as a crack in their trust. Oprah, long seen as a symbol of support for Black people, suddenly found herself in a conflict. It was this conflict that created a crack that Katt Williams, if he holds behind-the-scenes details, could easily deepen. Here the question is no longer simply who did Oprah interview, but rather, where did Oprah stand in the midst of public culture's crises? If Katt has additional pieces of the puzzle from the After Neverland backstory, from internal negotiations to the pressure from media corporations, Oprah's credibility would be tested once again. And that is exactly why she could truly fear what Katt Williams knows. Because with Ice Cube publicly siding with Katt, public opinion has started to scrutinize Oprah under a new lens. As for Katt, he is known for not hesitating to call out the truth no matter how difficult it is to hear. In this scenario, After Neverland could become the prime example of something Oprah would like to forget, but which might be brought up again at the most sensitive time. So the question is, does Katt really hold secrets about the After Neverland backstory? Or is it enough to simply remind people of that event to put Oprah on the defensive? Regardless of the answer, one thing is certain. Just mentioning Michael Jackson's name in connection with Oprah and Katt could shake Hollywood once again. Looking back at everything we've unraveled, it becomes clear why Oprah's name is inevitably tied to controversy whenever Katt Williams steps into the arena of truth-telling. From stormy interview backlashes to tensions around power and money, to the fear of old secrets being unearthed, all these threads weave into a tense triangle. Katt, the one who speaks, unfiltered, Ice Cube, the validator, and Oprah, the icon, forced to face the shadows behind her spotlight. The question now is, what will Katt reveal next? How will Oprah respond? This Hollywood drama is far from over, and the coming chapters promise to be even more explosive. Don't miss it. Support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing so you can follow the hottest revelations straight from behind Hollywood's curtain of power.
All data, analysis, and commentary in this video are presented based on information available at the time of production. The content is subject to change over time and should not be considered a definitive forecast. There is still so much more to explore. Stories of resilience, legacy, and truth. Feel free to dive into some of our top recommended videos now appearing on your screen.